Thinking about buying a used BMW to save money? Think again. It might just be the biggest financial mistake of your life. From insane repair costs to nightmare electronics, we're exposing why used BMWs can drain your wallet faster than you think. Used BMW or a brand new Toyota? Which one would you trust more for a 1,000-mile road trip? Let's see what you guys think in the comments. Let's start with why used BMWs are so cheap. BMWs lose up to 50% of their value within the first 3 to 4 years. That makes them look like a great deal on the used market. But here's the catch. Many owners sell their cars not because they want a new one, but because they're tired of paying for ridiculous repairs. That cheap used BMW might actually be a ticking time bomb for your bank account. Take the iDrive system, for example. A lot of BMWs are famous for having unreliable electronics, and the iDrive is one of the worst. Malfunctions, reboots, and black screens are just the start. If it fails completely, get ready to pay over $2,000 just to replace it. And what about the engines? If you've heard of the N54 and N63 engines, you probably know they're infamous for issues like oil consumption, turbo failures, and fuel pump problems. The cost of repairs? Anywhere from $3,000 to $8,000. That's almost enough to buy a decent used car by itself. But wait, it gets worse. If your used BMW has air suspension, you're in for a whole new set of nightmares. Most air suspensions start failing around 60,000 miles. Replacement costs? At least $2,500? That's if you're lucky. Even basic parts like brake pads can cost 3 times as much as those for a Toyota or Honda. And let's debunk a common myth right now. A lot of people think BMW parts are premium quality. In reality, many of them are made by the same suppliers who produce parts for everyday cars, but they're marked up just because of the badge. The real nightmare: the electronics. Modern BMWs are packed with sensors and computers, from the automatic start-stop system to the adaptive cruise control. And while all this tech is great when it works, when it doesn't, it's a disaster. A simple issue like a faulty sensor can cause a chain reaction of errors. Check engine lights, limp modes, and a trip to the dealership that can cost you thousands. And unlike older BMWs, you can't just fix these problems yourself. Most of the time, you're stuck paying dealer prices for diagnostics and repairs. And let's talk about oil leaks. Ever noticed a small puddle of oil under a BMW? You're not alone. Gaskets and seals in many BMW engines are notorious for failing. Valve cover gaskets, oil pan gaskets, and rear main seals all seem to have expiration dates. Fixing these issues can run you from $500 to $2,000, depending on the model. And if you ignore the leaks, you're looking at potential engine damage and even higher repair bills. The cooling system is another disaster. BMW's plastic radiator tanks and water pump housings are almost guaranteed to fail at some point. When they do, your engine can overheat in minutes. Replacing a radiator can cost $800 or more. And if your water pump goes out, that's another $1,000. And then there's the transmission. Many BMW owners have been shocked to find out that their sealed-for-life transmissions are not so life-proof. The truth is, even these units need fluid changes, usually around 60,000 to 80,000 miles. But here's the kicker. Many dealerships won't tell you this. They're more than happy to replace the entire transmission for $5,000 to $7,000 instead of doing a $500 service. And what about run-flat tires? Sounds convenient, right? But run flats are notorious for offering a stiff and uncomfortable ride, not to mention the cost. Replacing a set can easily run $1,000 to $1,500. And since many used BMWs come with these tires, you might be stuck either paying a fortune to replace them or dealing with a harsh ride. Be honest, would you rather own a used BMW or 3 cheap Japanese cars for the same price? So, what's the real cost of owning a used BMW? Insurance alone can set you back $2,000 per year or more. Why so much? Because repairs are so costly, insurance companies charge higher premiums to cover the risk. And don't forget depreciation. BMWs can lose up to 70% of their value in just 5 years. That's like throwing money out the window every time you start the engine. And if you're thinking about mods, think again. BMWs are infamous for their complicated electronics that don't always play well with aftermarket parts. Install the wrong exhaust or tuner, and you might end up with error codes and a car that won't start. Not to mention, BMW warranties are quick to void themselves at the first sign of aftermarket mods. Thousands of dollars saved for unexpected repairs, a used BMW is probably not worth the risk. You're better off with a new or certified pre-owned Japanese car that won't bleed your wallet dry every time a warning light comes on. So, what do you think? Would you still buy a used BMW? Or is it just a money pit in disguise? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more shocking car truths.